So I totally disagree with the idea that mediocrity is the one thing to avoid. I think mediocrity is actually better than being average. Because when you're average, you're comfortable. When you're average, you think that your situation is not as bad. When you're average, you can compare yourself to your peers and realize that some of them are actually in the same situation. You're actually doing better than a lot of people. And that is the danger with being average. Because you're kind of comparing yourself to the field. And if the field is not doing well, then you're just not doing well with everyone else. We cannot really separate yourself from the crowd. But when you're mediocre, there is no way for you to hide. And that is key. Survival is survival of your physical body. But survival is also psychological safety. If you cannot hide, if you don't feel safe, you're gonna have to do something about it. If you're mediocre, there is no way for you to hide. So psychologically speaking, that is the least safe space. And so you're gonna try to do something about it. Whether you succeed or not, that's a matter of execution. But at least you're not happy, you're not content with your current state. And you know there is something you can do about it. If you're morbidly obese, there is no way for you to hide. Regardless of how degenerate society can be, you know that it's not okay. When you try walking up the stairs and you're out of breath, when you try playing sports and you can't, reality is a good teacher and constantly remind us of what's true and what's false. So if you're mediocre, life will remind you that that is not okay. But if you're average, then it is psychologically safer. And so you're going to be less likely to try to do something about your situation. If you're 20-something% body fat, a lot of people are. That is not acceptable. That shouldn't be acceptable. But you can find comfort in looking the same as everyone else. You can tell yourself that, oh, it's not as bad. When you're obese, there is no way for you to hide. The same way if you make $30,000 a year, there is no way for you to hide. It is uncomfortable naturally. The fact that you can't buy a house, you might not be able to even afford a car, you might have like a very old, broken phone. Everything in your environment makes you feel uneasy, uncomfortable. There is no psychological safety. So you know you gotta find a way to level up. You know you gotta get either a better job, or you gotta get skills, or you gotta find a solution, but you know you gotta at least try. And it's constantly there. You can't really escape that reality. But if you're average, and let's say you make 50,000 or 60,000 or even 70,000, once again, there is a level of psychological safety, there's a level of comfort that you're getting. And all of a sudden it's, I don't really have to do something about it now. Yeah, it's not as bad. I can go on vacation once in a while. I might have to use my credit card, but I can do it. I might be able to finance a car. When I go to the beach, if I keep my shirt on or I avoid eating in the morning, I might not be as bloated, I might be able to look better. Right? There is a lot of safety because you kind of blend. But if society is not doing well, you being average is actually very dangerous because you don't know, there is no signal that can let you know that you got to do something about it. And that's why the whole point is to get what you want out of life. And the only way to do it is to have a higher level of expectation for yourself, a higher standard. You want to try to be great. You want to try to be excellent. That should be a non-negotiable. You shouldn't be okay with living this life and not making the most out of it. You should be able to look for the best possible job, the most amount of money. You should be able to think that you deserve to be lean and you're gonna earn it. You deserve to be more muscular and have energy and be athletic, and you're gonna go and you're gonna earn it. That means being honest with yourself and making the decision that being mediocre, we already know, but being average won't be acceptable, won't be tolerated. You want to expect more of yourself. You want to have like true conviction that you can get more out of this life and that you're capable of doing more out of this life. It requires effort, requires consistency, intensity, but before all of that comes from a decision that you will not accept to be average. The same way you don't feel safe about being mediocre, the same way you shouldn't feel safe about being average. When in physics, they talk about entropy, how chaos and disorder is a natural progression of life. If you leave a building unoccupied and you don't do any maintenance, you don't try to make any upgrade, the building will basically start collapsing over time. The same with everything else in life. You gotta try to maintain. That's the bare minimum. But we don't care about the minimum. No one gets anything from just the minimum. So you gotta try to improve. By improving, you get to maintain. By maintaining over time, you're not actually maintaining anything. You're actually losing more than anything else. And so that single decision that I need more, I'm expecting more out of this life, and you make the decision that you're gonna get more out of this life, and you start with like your mindset and a level of like strong conviction.